So Battlestate Games just did Tarkov TV, and one of the things that they showcased here was the recoil changes. Hello, I'm Guy, and today is going to be an exciting video if you have been really unimpressed with how Battlestate has handled the recoil system in Tarkov. So here you can see that every single tap fire, there's like a random jolt where you have to recorrect. The old system was nothing like that. I'm going to show you the old system of full auto, the old system of single tap, and you're going to see a massive difference between the two of them. I didn't choose like super meta guns. The MPX that I have built is pretty meta, but the other guns are just kind of like random hodgepodge guns that you might see out in the field, and also a beautifully built MDR. So the first thing that I noticed whenever we see the recoil of the new showcase recoil is that the kick of the gun goes straight up and then stays there. In the old version of almost every single gun, there's a massive kick, and then the auto correction is to bring the barrel back down. Now, what that creates is a recoil system that needs to be controlled by pulling the mouse down as the gun is kicking, and then you almost have to push your mouse forward as the auto correct kicks in order to keep the kick at a place that the bullets are actually going to go where you want them to. I really like this new recoil system because what it does is it allows, if you understand the recoil of the gun, you to actually control your spray so you're shooting in the same spot. All of the recoil on these guns that we have in Tarkov right now are just me left clicking on my mouse and not moving my mouse. I'm not trying to adjust anything. The second mag through, I try to adjust to keep most of my bullets in the center of the area that I'm shooting. As you can tell with the old recoil, it's very challenging to actually get your shots to where they need to go because the gun kicks up, then back down with the auto correction. You almost have to guess where the auto correction is going to be pulling you to. So the next thing that I am showing here is the single tap, where we already know that the full auto is going to be a little bit easier to control, which is going to be great. It's going to make for some really good fights. Now, the single fire is actually getting, it seems like a little bit of a nerf, because if you're aiming at someone, you're tap firing, you're going to be getting a little bit of a random jolt from side to side. There's no jolt in the old recoil system. As you can see here, when you shoot, the bullet is basically going in the same spot and the gun is just recoiling back to that exact same spot with that single tap, whereas the new one kind of kicks randomly side to side, a little bit of horizontal, a little bit of vertical recoil. I don't know if I love this, but just something to just kind of pay attention to. Another thing that I want you to pay attention to, which they didn't really do point firing or hip firing, whatever you want to call it in Tarkov, is that whenever you back up, you can really see that the gun has almost like a figure 8 kind of sway to it. It didn't do any kind of recoil adjustment with these hip fires. I was just trying to just tap and keep the mouse where it was, and you can see the pathing of the bullets are basically following almost like a slight figure 8, a little bit of a variation in there, so it is a little bit more challenging to control that kind of tap fire. Overall, my thoughts on the recoil changes are extremely positive. I think that the auto correction is cool to have, but there needs to be a point that is not as random. And the kick up with the gun, I kind of like, because it does punish people who don't control their recoil. So as long as you can control that first kick of the gun, you don't have to worry about readjusting once your quote unquote auto correct or the character corrects the recoil. And that's something that I think a lot of people, a lot of other gamers that come over from other games have a huge problem with Tarkov's recoil. It just doesn't make sense. And I think this is a much better way for them to do it. If you like the content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you all in the next one.